Italy just made a move so bold, so unprecedented that every nation on earth is paying attention. For the first time in modern European history, a Western democracy is preparing to deploy its own navy to blockade migrant boats from ever reaching its shores. And if you think this is just another headline out of Rome, you're dead wrong. What Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni just authorized could redefine what it means for a sovereign nation to defend its own borders. Make sure to stick me to the very end of this video, because what you're about to see isn't just transforming Italy, it's sending shockwaves through every capital in Europe and beyond. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, celebrating yet another day in Trump's golden age that you made possible back in November 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Just days back, on February 11th, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's cabinet approved a stunning new bill that would authorize the Italian Navy to impose full-scale naval blockades on migrant boats during periods of what they're calling exceptional migratory pressure. Now, you heard that right. Actual warships deployed to physically prevent illegal crossings into Italian territorial waters. Under the new legislation, the Italian government can ban vessels from entering its territorial waters for up to 30 days, extendable up to a maximum of 6 months. Anyone who violates the blockade faces fines of up to 50,000 euros, that's nearly $60,000, and repeat offenders will have their boats confiscated. And here's the kicker. This is what you're going to love. The bill specifically targets so-called humanitarian rescue NGO ships, the very vessels that have been functioning as a de facto ferry service for illegal migrants crossing the Mediterranean. The legislation also expands border surveillance, it broadens deportation criteria for foreign nationals, and even allows intercepted migrants to be transported to third countries like Albania, with which Italy has established detention and reparation agreements. Now, spearheading this effort, as I noted, is none other than Italy's nationalist populist Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, who isn't mincing words. Meloni's on the forefront of the rising civilizationalist populism that's increasingly taking over Europe.
The political and cultural battle for conservative values is not just an American battle. It is a Western battle. Because, my friends, I still believe in the West. Not just as a geographical space, but as a civilization. A civilization born from the fusion of Greek philosophy, Roman law, and Christian values. A civilization built and defended over centuries through the genius, energy, and sacrifices of many. When we say West, we define a way of understanding the world where the individual is central, life is sacred, all men are born equal and free, the law applies equally to all, sovereignty belongs to people, and freedom comes before everything else. This is our heritage, and we will never apologize for it.
So that's the amazing Giorgia Meloni. Yeah, I had the incredible privilege of seeing her speak at the World Congress of Families in Verona back in 2019, when she was just she was a rising star in Italian politics. Everyone was there to see Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini. We thought he was going to be the next prime minister, but it was Meloni who stole the show. She rocked the roof off that place. She was by far the most amazing speaker at the conference. But what you just heard her say is key to all of this. This obviously isn't just about stopping boats. It's not just about borders. It's about something far bigger. The survival of a distinct civilization. The question of national sovereignty. And whether Western nations will defend their identity or watch it dissolve under the weight of unchecked mass migration. And the numbers show just how massive the challenge has become. Italy now hosts an estimated 2.6 million Muslims, roughly 4.3% of their total population, with projections showing that that could hit an astonishing 10% of the population by 2050. But this is what makes Italy so amazing. Despite being the second largest religion in their country, Islam is still not officially recognized by the Italian state as a legally protected religion. There's no formal accord. There's no public funding for mosques. There's no state recognition of Islamic holidays or weddings. Nothing. Zippo. Meanwhile, Italian intelligence has raised alarm bells over the Union of Islamic Communities and Organizations in Italy, which is the largest Muslim Brotherhood-inspired organization in the country. The union manages dozens of mosques and cultural centers across Italy, and Italian parliamentary reports have described how these networks embed themselves into civic life, Italian civic life, presented as cultural or interfaith actors while carrying out transnational agendas. And their goal here is obviously to infiltrate Italian culture by influencing education, youth, politics, public debate. A Europol report in 2019 even cited Italy as a transit and support point for Islamist networks throughout Europe. And funding is central to all this, foreign funding. A number of reports have highlighted the amount of foreign money pouring into associations tied to political Islam, prompting the Italian Senate to debate reforms requiring transparency for all foreign-funded religious organizations. But what Meloni is doing goes far beyond just one bill. Under her government, Italy has slashed migrant sea arrivals dramatically, from over 157,000 in 2023 down to just about 60,000 in both 2024 and 2025, a staggering reduction of nearly 60%. They've detained asylum seekers, they've deported imams for extremist comments at political rallies, and between January of 2023 and July of 2024, Italy expelled 130 people for state security and arrested 36 Islamic extremists. And in the first 12 days of January 2026 alone, only 229 migrants arrived by sea, down from 376 in the same period the year before and 749 in the same period in 2024. So the trend is unmistakable. But what's so key here is that what's happening with Italy is happening across the whole of Europe. This naval blockade, it's just the tip of the spear. What we're seeing in Italy is spreading throughout the entirety of the European continent, and we're about to see why what's happening in Italy is only just the beginning. But first, what if I told you there's a hidden arbitrage opportunity in a $30 billion market? Everyday people with no special skills are quietly pulling in $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000 a month from it, all from their laptop. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but here's what's happening. There is a massive pricing gap in the used book market between what books sell for in one marketplace versus what they sell for in another. And the people who figured that out, they exploit that gap. You see, they're building real life-changing income in doing so. And here's what makes this truly different. You never actually touch a single physical book. No inventory in your garage. No shipping headaches. None. No leaving your house. Everything, and I mean everything, is done from your browser. You find the opportunity, you click a few buttons, other people handle all the logistics for you. And I'm not talking about some side hustle that earns you coffee money. I'm talking about a legitimate business that real people are running right now, many of them replacing their full-time income. Now, here's the exciting part. I'm personally hosting a free live training where we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how this works, step by step. No fluff, no theory, the actual system. I've done my homework on this, And I can't wait to talk to you about it and walk you through it myself. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code and register now. Trust me, folks, you do not want to miss this one. It's going to be amazing. These questions of what it really means to be European and what cultures are actually compatible with European values are the very kinds of questions that arise with the advent of something scholars call civilizational populism. Civilization, according to the Harvard scholar Sam Huntington, is the highest cultural grouping of people and the broadest level of social identity constituted by borders, boundaries, economy, and culture. And for an increasing number of European populace, they believe that their unique European civilization is being threatened by a foreign invader who are being allowed into their countries by a corrupt globalist elite centered in Brussels and the EU for their own political power and affluence. For example, open borders allows for the mass importation of cheap labor, which maximizes corporate profits, a significant portion of which then go to pay off greedy politicians who promise to keep those borders open. And when there's a mass outcry against this, when the people of a nation, obviously rise up and demand their borders closed and their national sovereignty defended, they're pathologized, they're stigmatized as far-right racist xenophobes. But the problem here is that those taunts, that stigmatization, that obviously dishonest caricature is only further fueling the rise of civilizational populism, particularly its religious dimension. And this is exactly what we're seeing going on in Italy. Italian patriots are more and more taking to the streets, publicly reclaiming their cities, their culture, their identity. Meanwhile, footage from Milan and other Italian cities shows massive public Islamic prayer gatherings spilling out of the mosques and on the sidewalks and public squares, not in private, but deliberately in public, in what many Italians see as a visible assertion of cultural dominance over shared civic spaces. Italians and more Europeans are rising up and saying no more. Now, of course, the legacy media is framing this as racism and Islamophobia. They're what we call progressive realists. They have no other frames of reference by which to even understand the civilizational populism. But that's exactly what the more insightful scholars recognizing it to be. Civilizational populism, where religion is returning as a marker of civilizational identity. And so the result of this massive backlash all throughout the West, particularly in Europe, is that Christianity is once again returning to the public square. Even in the most secularized parts of Europe, like Sweden and the Netherlands, Christianity is reemerging as the preeminent principle for the recovery of a distinctively European culture and politics. Geert Wilders, Jimmie Åkesson, Marine Le Pen, George Meloni, of course, the great Viktor Orban of Hungary, the newly elected president of Poland, Karol Nawrocki, they're all proclaiming the need for Christianity to return to the public square so as to provide the bulwark against the Islamification of their respective cultures. Italy and a growing number of European nations are drawing a line. The message is unmistakable. Italian waters belong to Italy. No foreign ideology will override national law. Borders will be defended. Civic unity will be enforced. And for Americans watching this unfold, the lesson is urgent. Our streets, our schools, our public institutions are facing similar tests. Debates over assimilation, public expression, and the balance between freedom and national cohesion. What's happening in Europe involves ultimately all of us. Bold action preserves civilization. Hesitation invites fragmentation. The choice has never been clearer.